So hello, my dear friends. How are you all? I hope you all are good and fantastic. So friends, you are very welcome in our lecture number 3 of polynomials. So friends, today we will do a lot of questions, a lot of examples in which you can learn very easily and very good. And so your understanding is becomes very good. Okay. So friends, now without wasting the time, let's start. Okay, I hope you will enjoy this lecture. Yes. So friends, today we will learn relationship between zeros and coefficient of a polynomials. Okay. So friends, this is a very amazing and interesting lecture. So you have to listen very carefully and very concentrately. Okay. Yes. Now, so our first main topic is for linear polynomials. Okay. We are seeing the relationship between zeros and coefficient of the polynomials for linear polynomials. Okay. So now, yes. So for linear polynomial, we know that ax plus b. This is our linear polynomial. And for linear polynomial, there is just only one zeros, which is x is equals to minus b by a. Okay. So there is 1 0. Okay. So now let's move on. Yes, for quadratic polynomial. So for quadratic polynomial, there are 2 zeros. How many zeros? Yes, in previous lecture, we already learned. Okay. Yes. Yes. So now, let's suppose we have a standard quadratic equation ax square plus bx plus c. Okay. And we can write it as like this. This is equals to k x minus alpha and x minus beta. Alpha and beta are the zeros of the quadratic polynomials. Okay. Now, where here k is any real number, is any real number. Okay. And alpha and beta are zeros of polynomial. Are the zeros of quadratic polynomial, zeros of this polynomial. Okay. Now, and here a b and c are the real numbers. Now we have to find alpha plus beta means sum of zeros. What is sum of zeros? Means alpha plus beta. So listen to me very carefully. Sum of zeros are, this is a formula that minus coefficient of x. What is the coefficient of x? Which is connected with the x. So what is b? Okay. And I already told you coefficient is the constant part. Okay. And coefficient of x square. So we can write here that alpha plus beta is equals to minus b upon a. What is? Yes, minus b upon a. Okay. And now we have to find product of zeros. Product of zeros is alpha into beta. Product of zeros. What are the product of zeros? Can you tell me? Yes, it is the constant term which is not connected any of the variables. Constant term divided by what? Coefficient of x square. Coefficient of x square. Means we can say that alpha into beta is equals to C upon A. C upon A. Okay. Okay. So I hope you get this point. So what is sum of zeros? If someone asks you what is sum of zeros, you can say directly minus b upon a. And what is product of zeros? C upon a. Okay. So these are the zeros of the these are the relationship of the zeros and coefficient of the polynomial of quadratic polynomial. Now let's move on. Now we will see in cubic polynomial. So cubic polynomial are those polynomial which has maximum degrees 3. So the standard equation is ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d, or we can write it as k x minus alpha x minus beta and x minus gamma. Now here three zeros. Let there are three zeros. Let zeros are alpha, beta, and gamma. Three zeros. What are those zeros? Alpha, beta, and gamma. And our standard equation is that we can write it as also alpha, beta, gamma are the zeros of the cubic polynomial. Here k is another a constant term, okay, or a real term, real constant term. Okay. Now we are finding sum of zeros means alpha plus beta plus gamma. This is a sum of zeros which is always equals to minus coefficient of x square divided by coefficient of x cube. So what is coefficient of x square is b minus b upon what? Minus a. Oh sorry, a, है ना? Single m. Now product of zeros means now sum of product of zeros taken two times. Okay. Now here we are seeing alpha beta plus beta gamma plus alpha gamma. So the formula is this: coefficient of x divided by coefficient of x cube. Okay. So what is coefficient of x? Coefficient of x is c upon coefficient of x cube is what? A. This is c by a. Now here is product of zeros means alpha into beta into gamma. So the result is that constant term minus of constant term divided by what? Coefficient of x cube. Okay, means minus d upon a. Okay, so Sum of zeros is minus b upon a. Product sum of the product of the zeros taken two at a time. So the formula is c upon a, and product of zeros is minus d upon a. So these are the result. Okay. So now let's move on. Yes. Now we will see factorization of polynomials. So friends, quadratic polynomial can be factorized by splitting the middle terms. Can be factorized by splitting the middle term. For example, let's suppose we have a polynomial 2x square minus 5x plus 3. Okay, we have this type of polynomials. Now, so we have to see, we are learning this splitting the middle form, middle term. Okay, we have to split this term minus 5x. Okay, so this must be expressed as a sum of two terms such that the product of their coefficient is equal, means product of their coefficient is equal to the product of 2 and 3, means we have to split in such a way that the sum of the two terms, means the sum of the two terms, okay, such that the product of their coefficient is equal. If the sum of these terms is equals to the minus 5, and the product of their coefficient is equal to the product of their 2 and 3, means product of the coefficient of x square and constant term. Okay, so now let's minus 5 we have to express as minus 2 plus of minus 3. If we solve it, this is the same result is minus 5. Okay, and if we are doing the product term, is that minus 2 into minus 3, which is equals to what? 6, and which is equals to what? 2 into 3, coefficient of x square into constant term. So that's the method. Now we can write here is also 2x square. Now we are splitting this minus 2x minus 3x plus 3. Now we are taking the common. Okay, so here is the common is 2x. Now the result is x. Now the remaining is what? X minus 1. Now here is what common? Yeah, there is minus 3 we can take. So here is the result is x minus 1. So now we have two terms in which what is the common? X minus 1. So we can take x minus 1, and the remaining is what? 2x minus 3. 2x minus 3. So friend, there is the factors x minus 1 and 2x minus 3. Okay, so by using this factor, we have to find the zeros of the polynomials. Okay, we will see in these questions. Now find the zeros of the following quadratic polynomial and verify the relationship between the zeros and the coefficient. Okay, so first of all, what we have to do, we have to find the zeros of the polynomial, and then we have to verify the relationship of the zeros and the coefficient. Okay, so very easy question. First of all, we have to factors of this equation. We have to do the factors. So what are the factors? So the factors are x square. So we have to factor the middle term. We can factor like this, minus 4x plus 2x minus 8. If you see that minus 2x, if we solve this term, so we get again minus 2, and if we product minus 4 into 2 is minus 8, and if we product like this also, there is 1. Okay, so minus 8 into 1 minus 8. So the result is same. So this is our correct factorization, correct splitting. Now we can take the common from what? from starting two terms and the last two terms. Okay, so the factors are x into x minus 4. Now we are taking plus 2. Now we get x minus 4. So there are two terms and the x minus 4 is common. We can take x minus 4 and we get the result x plus 2. So for finding the zeros, we have to put every term, every factor is equals to 0. So x minus 4 is equals to 0. So we get x is equals to 4. Okay. And also x plus 2 equals to 0. So we get x is equals to minus 2. So what are the zeros? 4 and minus 2. So what are the zeros? So the zeros are 4 and minus 2. Now we are again finding the zeros by the coefficient by the coefficients. Okay, so sum of zeros, what? Sum of zeros is 4 minus 2, which means 2. And by the formula, so the formula is what? Minus b by a. So minus, what is b? Minus 4. What is a? A is 1. A is what? Yes. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. It has so this is minus 2. Okay. What is 1? What is a is 1. So this is plus 2. Hence verify. How? You can see that here is 2 and here is 2. So this is verified. Now we are doing product of zeros. Means we have to product these two terms. So 4 into 4 into minus 2 and we get minus 8. Okay. Now we are doing by the formula. So the formula is C upon A, means constant term upon coefficient of x square. So C is what? Minus 8 upon 1. So the result is minus 8. This again verify. Okay. So I hope you get this point. Now let's move on. Yes. Now we have to again find these zeros of this number. So first of all, we have to find the factors. So for s square, s is our variables, minus 2s minus 2s. We can find it like this, plus 1. Now we can take the common from these two terms and these two terms. So what is the result term? We have to take just 4s. This is s. 4s. And we get what? S minus 1. Now again, here we take, there is 2s. Now we are just taking the 2. Okay. 2s is taking the common. Here we get 2s minus 1. There is no common, so we just take only minus 1 and the result is 2s minus 1. So there are 2 common. So we are extracting from these. So we get 2s minus 1 and again 2s minus 1. Okay. So now the product so the factors are, zeros are what? So the zeros are 1 upon 2 and 1 upon 2. These are the zeros. Okay. If we put these factors equals to 0, we get 1 upon 2. Okay. So now what are the sum of zeros? So sum of zeros is 1 upon 2 plus 1 upon 2. We get 1. If we do by the coefficient like this, what is the formula? Minus b by a. So minus of minus, what is b? Minus 4. What is a? 4. Okay, this is cut. So the result is 1. Hence verified. If we do the product of zeros, what is product of zeros? 1 by 2 into 1 by 2. So the result is 1 by 4 if we do by the formula. So what is the formula? Constant term upon x square means 1 upon 4, hence proof. So we are also doing the verification. Now let's move on. Yeah, 4u square plus 8. So first of all, now from these two terms, what is the common? The common is 4u. And what is the factors? U plus 2. So the factors are this, and if we put every factor is equal to 0, we get u is equals to 0. Okay, this is our first factors. Okay, and for finding the second factors, we have to put the u plus 2 is equals to 0, and we get u is equals to minus 2. So these are the two factors. What factors? 0 and minus 2. Now we are finding alpha plus beta. What is 0 plus 2? 0 plus minus of 2. Okay. Minus 2. So we get minus 2. If we are doing by the formula, minus b by a means minus 8 by 4. If we cut this, so minus 2. Okay, then it is verified. Now product of zeros means 0 into 2 minus 2. So we get 0. If we do by the formula, c upon a. Now here is, what is c? So if you don't see any c, so then you can write as 0. This is a constant term. So c is what? 0 upon a is what? 4. We get 0, hence verified. Okay. Now again we have to do a question. So the question is that, yes, 3x square minus x minus 4. Now in this case, we have to first of all factors 3x square minus 4x, okay, plus 3x minus 4. If you solve that, minus 4 plus 3 is minus 1. Okay, so there is no changes. Now we take the common from first and second set. So we get, if we take the x common from these two starting two terms, so we get 3x minus 4. Now there is no common, so we just take only 1. So here we get 3x minus 4. Now what are these factors? 3x minus 4, and what is the remaining? X plus 1. Okay, so for finding the zeros, we are putting every factors is equals to 0, and we get x is equals to minus 4 upon 3 and minus 1. So these are the zeros. Okay, now we have to find sum of zeros. Alpha plus beta. What is alpha plus beta? Minus 4 upon 3 minus 1. Okay, so we get 3 minus 4 minus 3 means minus 7 upon 3. What is? Yes, minus 7 upon 3. Okay, so here there is plus 4. Okay, there is plus 4 upon 3. Here is again plus 4, here is again plus 4. So we get what? We get 1 upon 3. 1 upon 3. And if we are doing by the formula minus b by a, so what is minus b? Minus of 1. What is a? Is 3, which is 1 upon 3, hence verified. Now we are doing product of zeros. What are the product of zeros? Means 4 upon 3 into minus 1. So if we solve it, we get minus 4 upon 3. Okay, now if you do by the formula, the formula is c upon a, means constant term upon coefficient of x square. So minus 4 upon 3, hence verified. So now let's do the another question. Yes, find a quadratic polynomial each with the given number as the sum and product of its zeros respectively. Now we have sum of zeros and product of zeros, and we have to make the quadratic polynomial. In previous question, we have the quadratic polynomial and we have to find the product of zeros and sum of zeros. So now here is the standard formula is that, what is the formula? So for finding the quadratic polynomial, there is a standard equation x square minus sum of zeros of x, okay, plus product of zeros is equals to 0. Okay, so now we have to find, we have sum of zeros and we have product of zeros. So now just putting, so what are the sum of zeros? So the sum of zeros are, we have alpha plus beta is 1 by 4 and alpha into beta is what? Minus 1. Okay, now we are just putting in the equation. So we get x square minus 1 upon 4 x plus minus 1 is equals to 0. Now take the LCM as 4. 4 x square minus x minus 1, and 4 goes to 0. It will become 0. Now this is the equation. This is our answer. 4x square minus x. Here is also minus 4 comes. Okay, minus 4. Now again, we just have to put in the sum of zeros and product of zeros. And we have equation x square minus alpha plus beta x plus alpha beta is equals to 0. X square minus, what is sum of zeros? Under root 2x. What is product of zeros? 1 upon 3 is equals to 0. So our result is 3x square minus 3 root 2x plus 1 is equals to 0. This is our answer. Now the next question is that 0 under root 0 is 0, okay, and root 5. So again, x square minus sum of zeros is 0 dot x plus root 5 is equals to 0. So our answer is x square plus root 5 is equals to 0. Okay. Now let's come on the next part. So the next part is, we have sum of zeros is minus 1 upon 4 and product of zeros is what? 1 upon 4. Okay, so with the help of these we can find the quadratic equation very easily. So we know that x square minus alpha plus beta into x plus alpha beta is equals to what? 0. Okay, now we have alpha plus beta and alpha into beta. So now we are putting these values in this equation. So we get x square minus 1 upon 4 into x plus 1 upon 4 is equals to 0. Okay, my dear friends. Now let's take the LCM as a 4. So it will become 4x square. Now here is minus will become plus, so this is plus and this is x. Okay, plus 1 is equals to 0. Now this 4 will shift to the RHS, then it will become 0 because 0 into 4 is 0. So we have 4x square plus x plus 1 is equals to 0. So this is our required answer. This is our what? Required answer. Okay, my dear friends, I hope you get this point. Now let's move on to the next question. So the next question is, if alpha beta are zeros of quadratic polynomial kx square plus 4x plus 4, find the value of k such that alpha plus beta whole square minus twice of alpha beta is equals to 24. Okay, so now we have quadratic polynomial kx square plus 4x plus 4. Okay, we have quadratic polynomial like this. Now with the help of this polynomial we can easily find sum of roots and product of roots. So what is sum of roots? We know that sum of roots is minus coefficient of x, minus coefficient of x is 4, divided by coefficient of x square, which is k. Okay my dear friends, and what is product of roots? Product of roots is constant term. What is constant term? 4 divided by coefficient of x square, so which is k. Okay, now we have alpha plus beta and alpha beta. Now put these values in the given equation, in this equation. Okay, so from this we can easily find the value of k. Okay, so let's do that. Yes, we have alpha plus beta whole square minus twice of alpha beta is equals to 24. Now we are going to put these values alpha plus beta and alpha beta in this equation. So we get minus 4 upon k whole square minus 2 into 4 upon k is equals to 24. So this will become 16 upon k square minus 8 upon k is equals to 24. Now we are taking k square as the LCM. So we get what? We get 16 minus, from this 1k will be cancelled and the left 1k is we have to multiply with the 8, so we get 8k which is equals to 24. Now this will become 16 minus 8k is equals to 24k square. Okay, now we have to shift all the values to the RHS, all the values to the RHS, so we get what? We get 24k square plus 8k minus 16 is equals to 0. Minus 16 is equals to what? 0. Okay, so now we have to take 8 as a common. Okay, if we take 8 as a common, we get 3k square plus k minus 2 is equals to 0, and this k, if we shift to the RHS, then it will become 0. So we have 3k square plus k minus 2 is equals to 0. Now we have a quadratic equation. This is what? This is a quadratic equation. Now we have to solve this. So we can solve it by factorization method. By what? Factorization method. Okay, so 3k square, we can split k as a plus 3k minus 2k. Minus 2 is equals to 0, because if we solve this, if we do 3k minus 2k, we get plus 1k, and if we multiply 3 into minus 2, we get what? Minus 6, which is equals to the product of k coefficient of k square and the constant term, which is also 3 into minus 2 minus 6. Okay, now let's take the common from these two terms and from these two terms. So we get, if we take the common as a 3k, so we get k plus 1. We get what? K plus 1. Now from this we have to take minus 2 as a common, so we get k plus 1 again is equals to 0. Now again we have two terms. Okay, so now from these two terms we can take k plus 1 as a common. So we get 3k minus 2, which is equals to 0. Okay, now for finding the value of k, we have to put each term equals to 0. So k plus 1 is equals to 0. From this we get k is equals to minus 1. Okay, now 3k minus 2 is equals to 0. From this we get k is equals to 2 upon 3. What is k is equals to what? 2 upon 3. So this is our answer. So we have the value of k is equals to minus 1 and 2 upon 3. Okay, my dear friends, I hope you get this point. So now let's move on. Yes. So if alpha and beta are the zeros of the quadratic polynomial of this, find the value of this. So first of all, we have to do what? Sum of zeros. What are the sum of zeros? Sum of zeros is minus of minus 6 upon 3. We get what? 2. Again, product of zeros is what? 4 upon 3. Okay, now we have an equation alpha upon beta plus beta upon alpha plus 2 into 1 upon alpha plus 1 upon beta plus 3 into alpha beta. Okay, so now we are solving is this. We take LCM alpha beta, we get alpha plus beta plus 2 into again we take alpha beta. Here is what? Alpha into beta and beta into alpha. Okay, here is again alpha beta and we get alpha plus beta. Okay, alpha beta. Wait a minute. Yes. There is beta upon alpha plus. Now, here we are taking alpha beta as a factor. Now, here is beta beta cut, we get alpha square plus here is alpha alpha cut, we get beta square plus 2 into, okay, plus 2 into, here is alpha beta, we get beta plus alpha plus 3 times of alpha beta. Okay, this is what? 3 times of alpha beta. Now, here, this equation, we can write it as also alpha plus beta whole square minus 2 alpha beta. If we solve it, we can get just this expression. This is alpha beta plus 2 into alpha plus beta divided by alpha beta. Okay, plus 3 into alpha beta. Now we are putting the value of alpha plus beta and alpha beta in this equation. Okay, and we get what? 2 square minus 2 into 4 upon 3 upon 4 upon 3. Okay, plus 2 into 2 divided by, yes, 2 into 2 divided by 4 upon 3 plus 3 into 4 upon 3. So by solving this, we get 8. So 8 is our answer. So friends, here we are finishing this lecture and now we will meet in the next lecture. I hope you enjoyed this session. So thank you very much.